Good evening, and welcome to tonight's nightmare. Tonight's nightmare comes from the Reddit No Sleep from user This Is Friday, and is titled, "My daughter has changed since her vacation." A couple of weeks ago, my 18-year-old daughter went off with her friends during spring break. Nothing unique. We went up to the beach and hung out. I talked to her and texted her every day, and she posted updates on her social media for her friends and family to see. Speaking of family, I'll note that Sarah is an only child and I am a single father. Her mother died 5 years ago. I had taken Sarah and some of her friends to see a movie, and when we came home, my wife was dead. The autopsy didn't reveal much in the way of answers. It was chalked up to natural causes, but she was 31 years old and very healthy. Either way, she's gone, and that has obviously been tough on both me and my daughter. Anyway, the final day of Sarah's trip, she never responded to any of my texts or answered my phone calls. Complete silence on social media as well. I was obviously worried, but she returned home on time and everything seemed fine. She said she was just too caught up with her friends to get back to me, and while my parental instincts tell me that isn't the whole truth, I do trust Sarah, so I didn't press. However, slowly, things seemed off. I first noticed it one night while I was sleeping. I had a particularly long day at work and was totally exhausted. Came home late, around midnight. I went to check on Sarah and she wasn't in her room. I knocked on all the doors to all the bathrooms but got no response. However, the one nearest my room was locked, so I figured she was using the restroom and just had earphones in. I texted her that I loved her and wished her good night, and I was quickly in my bed and asleep. But to suffocate how worn out I was, something woke me up around 1:15 a.m. It sounded like my door creaking open. When I looked up, my vision, still blurry from the sleep, it was wide open. Alarmed, I quickly jumped into a seated position, but the wider view revealed Sarah, standing in the corner of the room, seemingly frightened by my sudden burst. I looked back and forth between her and the door, before questioning her. "Sarah? What's wrong?" I asked. She didn't reply. She just cowered in the corner for a moment, but slowly she seemed to be reassuring herself that she was fine. "Are you okay?" She took a couple small steps towards my bed, and for some reason this made me uncomfortable. She was being silent, and slowly approaching me. I know it's not something straight out of a horror film, but the whole situation had me feeling uneasy. I stood up and started towards her, but she backed up against the wall and shouted, "No!" I took a step back, raised my hands out in front of my chest. "It's okay, sweetheart. What's got you so jumpy?" I didn't make any attempt to get closer to her, and I was hoping she would finally reply to me. But instead, she ran out of my room into her room. I was confused and didn't chase after her. After giving her a few minutes, I went to her bedroom door and knocked. "Sarah, everything is fine. It's just Dad. Can I come in?" I heard her bed creaking a lot, and I mean a lot. I knew she was awake, and honestly, I was getting worried. I really needed to know what was going on here. She never spoke up, but she did text me, "I'm fine. Need to rest." With that, I reluctantly gave up and went back to sleep. The next morning I was eating breakfast when she came down the stairs. She seemed to be her usual happy self. I didn't even have to bring up the events from hours earlier. She did. "I'm sorry about last night, Daddy. I had a really trippy nightmare, and I think I was still out of it when I came to your room. I didn't mean to scare you." "I understand. I was just worried." I finished my bacon and took the plate to the sink. When I finished rinsing off the plate, I turned around and Sarah was standing a few feet away, a drawer open and a steak knife in her hand. She was just staring at it. "What's wrong? Is it dirty?" I asked her, but she just smiled and shook her head. She put it back and closed the drawer. "It's nothing. I'm just not as hungry as I thought I was. I'm going out back upstairs and I'll call some friends. Love you." I responded I loved her as well, but she was already headed back upstairs. After that, things were mostly normal. That is, until this morning. I didn't work today, but I had some errands I needed to run. I was taking a shower when I thought I heard the door to the bathroom open. I remained still and called out Sarah's name, but there was no reply. Figured it was just my imagination, so I went back to what I was doing. Now, I can't see through the shower door, so I had no way of knowing she had actually entered the room. My back was now turned to the shower door when I felt a rush of cold air hit me. I jumped and turned around, and there she was. Now, as absolutely weird as it was for her to open the shower door on my father, I can say that I don't think she ever looked anywhere private. Instead, she maintained eye contact with me. My heart was racing. I don't know how long we just stared into each other's eyes, but it felt like at least a minute. I finally came to my senses and reached beside her for a towel, but she grabbed my wrist and twisted, and it hurt like hell. I jerked away, grabbed the towel, covered myself, and then shook the pain out of my wrist. "Don't," I remember her saying as I looked at my wrist. By the time I looked back at her, she was walking out of the bathroom, but I noticed the steak knife from her was sticking out of her pocket. I finished up the bathroom and quickly found Sarah getting ready to leave. "Sarah, what the hell was that? You can't just barge in on someone, especially me, while they're in the shower," I shouted. I thought something was off, but I was still angry. She took a deep breath as she slipped into her shoes. "I'm sorry, it's complicated." She reached for the door handle, but I called out for her to wait. "No, I have somewhere to go." "Where?" "I can't tell you." I exhaled and rubbed my hand through my mediocre beard. "You seemed a little off ever since your trip. Is everything okay? Did something happen?" She teared up. "I can't tell you. He'll know." With that, she quickly left the house. I stood there, feeling a lot of different emotions, but mostly I was worried about who this man was my daughter was talking about. So I did something wrong to get answers. I invaded her privacy. I went to her room and started searching for anything that could give me answers. Maybe drugs. I really don't know what I was trying to find, but what I found was something I did not expect. It was a binder. On the cover there was some weird symbol. I don't know what it means. I haven't even been able to find anything related to it on the internet. But inside? Pages and photos. On the pages, Sarah had been writing, and there were spots where the pages had gotten some liquid drops on them. I'm assuming those were tears. I couldn't read anything she'd wrote, though. It had all been marked out completely with a pen, but she had a solid 15 to 20 pages of something that she had written. The photographs are worrisome. Any picture of her where she wasn't smiling had a smile drawn. And any picture of male, me, her cousins, uncles, old boyfriends, etc., it didn't matter here. Those pictures had clearly been stabbed repeatedly, and there were red marks on the pictures. But it didn't look like red ink. It looked like dried blood. As I left her room, I stopped. I thought I heard something. Very faintly. It sounded like a man laughing. She still hasn't come home, but she did text me that she'd be home by curfew. I'm thinking about bringing this up to her. Should I?